All right, so we have an update in the Michigan State coaching search. Obviously, the last coach, Mel Tucker, got the boot, got fired for, let's just say, doing a little too much, to say the least. I've got 10 names on here that were originally kind of rumored. Some of them interviewed, some of them didn't, but kind of rumored. And then, like I said, the four that advanced the second round interviews we'll discuss here in a second. But let's run down this list real quick. If their name's marked out, that means they didn't make it to the second round interviews, or they just never got interviewed at all. You know what I mean? But their name's on this list just to discuss. So to start off, you got Harlon Barnett, interim head coach right now. He is currently the Michigan State coach, taking over from Mel Tucker during the season. I don't think he gets a look. He may get an interview just because, he's doing the interim kind of out of a courtesy, but I don't think he's probably getting the job. Next up, another name I saw thrown around, which is kind of surprising, Alex Atkins, who is the Florida State offense, that says head coach, but it's supposed to say OC, Florida State offensive coordinator. And him, I was surprised to see his name even on the list, even mentioned, because Florida State has an okay offense, but I feel like that's too much of a jump from that to a Michigan State job, which is a big opportunity. And really, it's in, you got the Power 5 right now, but really, as far as how it's headed, it's almost the Power 2. So everybody, similar to the teams, every coach is trying to make the jump to the Big Ten, make the jump to the SEC. So you're going to see a lot of people trying to do that, and that's just way too big of a jump for him, in my opinion. Next up, Lance Leipold, Kansas head coach. So him and the next guy, Chris Klieman, Kansas State head coach, they're both always mentioned with these jobs because they're very good coaches, but they're in the Big 12, and the Big 12, kind of was it in an iffy situation for a while. Like, would it even survive? Would it make it out of realignment? So you see their names mentioned with pretty much everything because, they may be interested in moving up. Klieman, I think, can win at Kansas State. I think he can make the playoff at Kansas State when it expands. As far as Leipold, I don't know if he can make it at Kansas. He's had good teams. He's kind of got the injury bug when it comes to his quarterbacks. So if he has a healthy team, maybe. But both of them, they didn't advance to the second round interview, so I'm not sure if they even interviewed in the first place, but their names were thrown around. Next up, I don't think he was ever a realistic candidate, Urban Meyer, former Ohio State, former Florida head coach, former Jacksonville Jaguar head coach. I don't think he was a realistic name, but I think people just threw it out. But, I mean, if you could pull off Urban Meyer somehow anywhere, yeah, go get him, because even if you do get hit with sanctions after he leaves, it's worth winning the national championship for sure. But, yeah, I don't think he ever really considered Michigan State. Even though they did supposedly spot him in East Lansing, I don't think that was realistic. This next name I actually found curious to be on this list, Dave Doeren at NC State. So before I dive down talking about Dave Doeren, I came across an interesting stat about him. He's probably one of the best coaches in the country. So I came across this stat. It said over the last 5 years, the teams that have 8 or more wins each season: Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, and NC State. That's some good company to be in right there, and really kind of surprising. You don't hear a lot about them. They win kind of 8 games, 9 games, but nothing more. You know what I mean? But NC State's not supposed to be a powerhouse, so he's actually a really good coach. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if you see him take one of these Power 5 jobs and actually kind of be a not a sexy hire, but a good one. You know what I mean? He gets the job done. If he's winning 8 or 9 games a year at NC State, he's doing something right. All right, so these next 4 names are the names that advanced the second round interviews, so they are up for the job. First off, Jonathon Smith, Oregon State head coach. I was kind of surprised to see his name on this list. You see his name thrown around a lot in this, and I don't know if it's because of the realignment, like trying to make the jump, but he is at his alma mater. He's at Oregon State is where he graduated from, so I don't know. I'd be surprised if he leaves, but you do see his name thrown around, like I said, on these lists, and usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So I don't know. You could do worse than Jonathon Smith. He's a good coach. Next up, Mike Elko, Duke head coach. So he's also in the A&M coaching search right now. He's in the running for that. And so I don't know which one he'll get. I would expect probably him to get one of the jobs over the next, over this coaching carousel as far as one of the big jobs, Power 5 jobs, where it's Michigan State, whether it's A&M. I think he'll probably get the A&M job possibly, but he's probably more of a fit there than here, in my opinion. But, yeah, his name's been thrown around a lot. He's a good coach. Duke's done pretty well this year. If their quarterback's healthy, they're probably a top 25 team. Next one, Jedd Fisch, Arizona. So He's probably the hottest name on this list right now. Obviously, he's got Arizona in the top 25. Had some pretty big wins this year. Look for his name to slowly start creeping up in a lot of searches, like including the A&M one, just because he's having success all of a sudden. And he's done it pretty quickly at Arizona. He's had, like I said, success, and he's doing it quickly. He's a pretty good head coach. Really, all four of these that are in the second round interviews are pretty good. All right, and last up, we've got Jason Candle, Toledo head coach. He's a good head coach. He's got Toledo in the top 25. I don't think he's on the level of the other ones. Now, he may be as good of a coach, but I just mean as far as proving himself just yet, because he's done it at the group of five. Now can he do it at the power five? And really, like I said, going from the group of five straight to the Michigan State, which is essentially a power two, getting one of these, even if it's a lower ring school in the Big Ten, it's still a bigger name because it's been proven you can win at Michigan State. I mean, they've made the playoff. You can definitely win at Michigan State. And so I figure it'll be, a high applicant position. Like obviously these four names are high quality head coaches that are in the running. So if they really could get any four of these, that's not a bad hire. Dave Doeren, if they could somehow pull him from NC State, I don't think they're going to, obviously he didn't go to the second round interview, so I don't think that'll happen. He's who I would like from this list if it was me personally hiring. Now, judging from this list, I'm going to say that hire Jedd Fisch is my prediction. I'm leaning towards the bottom two, Jedd Fisch or Jason Candle. I feel like Smith won't leave Oregon, and I feel like Elko's getting an A&M job. So Jedd Fisch or Jason Candle is probably going to be your candidate here. That's who I figure they'll go with. But that's just my prediction. Let me know who you think they'll hire down in the comment section. Who do you think they will hire? Who would you hire? Let me know. Comment down below, like, and subscribe.